It's old-time hockey, the way you're supposed to play. You throw a little lumber if a guy gets in your way. You play like Gordie Howe or Eddie fucking Shore. We can't all be Gretzky, some news or Bobby Orr. Hey!
He puts it in front.
For Donald on deck, LaFontaine and him on the trail in. Here's LaFontaine. He scores!
Well, Pat LaFontaine isn't sainted yet, but he may be now. Donald Adet makes a great pass to LaFontaine, and LaFontaine partially fans on this shot, but it gets across the goal line. And the
What can you say about one of the most underrated U.S.-born hockey players of all time? This is the story of Pat LaFontaine. LaFontaine would spend 1 year in the Quebec Major Junior League, playing for the Verdun Juniors. In 70 games, he totaled 104 goals and 130 assists for 234 points. That year, he was the CHL Player of the Year, the CHL Top Scorer, would win the Mike Bossy Award as the Q's Best Professional Prospect, would also win the Jean Beliveau Trophy for most points, the Frank Selke Trophy for most sportsmanlike player, the Michel Briere Trophy for most valuable player, the Michel Bergeron Trophy for Offensive Rookie of the Year. He would have the most assists in the QMJHL playoffs that year with 24, along with the most points at 35, and win the QMJHL playoff MVP, the Guy Lafleur Trophy. Amazingly, he was selected as the third overall pick in the first round of the 83 NHL entry draft. Who was picked before him? Brian Lawton and Sylvain Turgeon, which means that Minnesota and Hartford could have had a shot at Pat LaFontaine and changed their entire history going forward. And who was taken after LaFontaine? Just some nobody named Steve Yzerman. During the 83-84 season, LaFontaine would spend most of his time with the U.S. Olympic team, playing exhibition games around the world and representing the U.S. in the 1984 Olympics. He would make his debut in Long Island just in time to make it to the Stanley Cup Finals. But unfortunately, it would end the Islanders' historic run of 4 cups in a row, losing to the Oilers in the finals. LaFontaine would make his first full season in 84-85, appearing in 67 games and scoring 54 points. LaFontaine would continue to progress through the 80s and spend 8 seasons in Long Island with the Islanders. Unhappy with his situation in Long Island, LaFontaine turned down a multi-year contract and sat out part of the 91-92 season until he was traded to the Buffalo Sabres, where he would spend the last 57 games racking up the points, scoring 46 goals and 47 assists for 93 points. The following season saw his career best. At 84 games, he would score 53 goals and get 95 assists for 148 points, becoming a runner-up in the Hart Trophy voting. After the 92-93 season, LaFontaine would struggle with injuries, limiting his playing time for the next few years. He would play another full season in Buffalo in 95-96, scoring 91 points in 76 games, but the following year was limited to only 13 games. LaFontaine would finish his career during the 97-98 season for the New York Rangers, where he would play 67 games and score 62 points. He is the only player in NHL history to play exclusively in the state of New York for all 3 franchises, the Islanders, the Sabres, and the Rangers. There are 4 other players that share this distinction, but they all played on different teams other than the teams that were based in New York as well. LaFontaine once joked about it, saying, and I quote, "I think I'm the one player in history who has been traded twice and haven't had to change my license plate." LaFontaine would finish his career playing in 865 NHL games with 468 goals, 545 assists for 1,013 points. He is a 5-time NHL All-Star. He won the Bill Masterton Memorial Trophy in 1995, as well as the Lester Patrick Trophy in 1997. He would win a World Cup gold medal in 97 and be inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame in 2004. as well as the United States Hockey Hall of Fame that same year. Though he is not often talked about as compared to other U.S.-born players like Mike Modano, Jeremy Roenick, Patrick Kane, Brian Leetch, or Mike Richter, but Pat LaFontaine is one of the greatest, most underrated U.S.-born players of all time.
It's old-time hockey, the way you're supposed to play. You throw a little lumber if a guy gets in your way.